Wellington, Friday night, a packed rink and an East Division showdown with Kingston. It doesn't get much better than that. Highlights of the big game coming up. This is the OJ Today. Welcome everybody. On today's show, a player profile story on one of the OJ's top young players, Burlington's Filip Lagunov, who's a hot commodity for this year's NHL draft. Also, we'll take a closer look at the Toronto Patriots in this week's team report. But first, the Bar Down game highlights. And if you haven't checked out a game in Trenton on a Friday night, what the heck are you waiting for? The atmosphere at the hangar is absolutely insane. Last week, the OJ Today crew made the trip east down the 401 to film the Trenton-Kingston encounter. And in front of 1,000 diehard Hawks fans, the home team did not disappoint. OJ Highlights now brought to you by Bar Down, official clothing supplier to the OJHL. These two squads hadn't faced each other since back on November 3rd, which ended in a 1-1 draw, and the rink was packed for the big game. And it was Trenton with the first good chance here. Lucas Brown steals, goes for a skate, but gets robbed by Zach Springer. K-Town comes right back at them. It's Nolan Hutchison with some room to roam on the wing, but rings it off the iron, however. Second frame, Jayhawks think they've drawn first blood. Austin Botchel with the point shot, and in it goes. Trenton celebrating, but hold your horses. The officials throw water on the festivities. Net was off. No goal. But the Hawks would get one that counted just moments later, as it's Jeremy Pilara to Michael Silveri out front. He breaks the ice. Trenton leading 1-0, and that's Silveri's 20th of the season, one of 3 Hawks with at least 20 goals so far. The V's would even it up though. Reed Russell goes bottle hunting and finds it. Beautiful shot over the shoulder of Chris Jansen. And Kingston's even Steven. It's a 1-1 hockey game. In the third period though, the Hawks would pull out the W on the power play. Nice puck movement here. Lucas Brown, El Capitan, knocks home the rebound, and 1,000 fans at Duncan Memorial Arena head home happy on this night. The Golden Hawks would add an empty netter to make it 3-1. Kingston playing under new bench boss Mark Major for this one, as Taurine White was surprisingly let go recently by the V's despite boasting a record well above 500. Well, the Wellington Dukes have been chasing those Golden Hawks all season long in the East, but while they are guaranteed a playoff spot right now, catching Trenton for first place just isn't going to happen at this point. Instead, they've been jockeying with Kingston to try to stay out of 5th place in the division. Well, on Sunday, they traveled to St. Mike's to tangle with a young, hungry Buzzer squad. St. Mike's coming off a tough 6-4 loss to Whitby 2 nights previous. The young Buzzers turning heads this year, and they came to play in this one. 5:49 in. A weak opening goal. Tyler Spott with the point shot. It bounces off the boards and in off keeper Connor Rickman. 1-0 Buzzers. Rickman had his struggles in this game. Just under 9 minutes later, Jonah Alexander picking it up, and the quick wrister right there goes top shelf. 2-0 for St. Mike's. Back to Rickman's struggles. AJ DeRazio goes for a skate. Rickman doesn't cover the post, and he makes him pay. 3-0 for St. Mike's. Quite the first period. Second frame, no scoring, but the Dukes get physical as Keegan Ferguson lays out Alexander with the open ice hit. Both teams would add a goal in the third frame, but St. Mike's had more than enough to hold on for the 2 points. So the Buzzers stay hot on the heels of Oakville in the South, trailing by just 3 points right now. Okay, Wellington had better luck Thursday facing Newmarket, although it's the Canes that strike first. Mackenzie Gray from Todd Winder, and it's 1-0 for Newmarket. That's still in the first. Joseph Mitzi with the gorgeous backdoor pass to Quinn Ewell. Canes looking good early, jumping out to the 2-0 lead. Alas, it was all Dukes from that point on. Braden Stortz, the gorgeous shot, but Jesse Hodgson really needs to make that save. Wellington cuts it to 2-1. In the third, the floodgates open. Carter Allen with the point shot that beats the screened Hodgson, and they were all tied up. at 2 apiece. At the 4:53 mark, Rory Milne collects the pass and smokes it past Hodgson to give the Dukes the advantage, and they were far from done. 4 minutes later, the point shot gets tipped home by Braden Storch for his second of the contest, and it's 4-2 Dukes, and then Hodgson gives up the big, fat, juicy, delicious rebound that Jackson Arcand dines out on to make it 5-2 Wellington. The Canes get one back. It is pretty. Alex Cerullo to Joseph Mitzi out front to make it 5-3, but that's as close as they would get. The Dukes would add one more to double up Newmarket and make it a 6-3 final. The Canes now just 2 points ahead of an improving Lindsay squad for the 8th and final playoff spot in the Northeast. It's going to be a fascinating stretch drive. OJ commitments from the past week. Gianfranco Casaro of the JRCs commits to UMass Amherst NCAA Division I for 2018-19. He's having a great season so far. 28 points in 32 games. Congrats on the commitment. And this week's OJ trivia is who was the 2015-16 OJHL Coach of the Year winner. If you don't know, head to ojhl.ca. First person with the correct answer to our Morocco at the ojhl.ca wins the OJ prize pack. Welcome back. Well, the Burlington Cougars have been a force in the OJ this season, and a big contributor to their success has been the play of sniper Filip Lagunov. Now, the 18-year-old made NHL Central Scouting's watch list for the upcoming draft, and if you've seen him play, you understand why. Lagunov brings a solid 200-foot game to go along with a pair of buttery soft hands, which will serve him well next fall when he takes his game to UMass in the NCAA. It's remarkable how much things can change in a year. For much of last season, Filip Lagunov was playing in Milton. The team was losing, and he racked up a pedestrian 10 points in 26 games. Then a trade to Burlington and a new lease on life. Under head coach Mark Juris, Lagunov averaged a point per game as the Cougars made it all the way to the conference final. And he's kept the hot play going this season, leading Burlington in scoring.
We lost a lot of guys last year, a lot of firepower like Jordan Peacock, Gomes, even Willie Paul on the D, and a lot of leadership, of course. I knew right away coming into the year that I would have to play a big role, obviously scoring, like points, producing points, and I just knew I had to step up to the next level.
Lagunov has been named to NHL Central Scouting's watch list. He's been noticed for a multitude of reasons. His attention to both the offensive and defensive side of the game, soft hands, and leadership traits despite being only 18 years old.
He's a very complete player. He's a kid that's relentless on pucks, just loves the game. He can't get enough of it. He competes so hard. He's very great stick skills, puck protection, very aware defensively, and I think he's got a great role model with Chris Cobham, who he's played a lot with. We brought him from Milton with Chris. He's kind of a throw-in in the deal, and now he's on the NHL watch list and committed to a school, and his ceiling is real good as well. Phenomenal hands. He's got great speed. He doesn't slow down when he gets the puck. His puck protection skills are very, very good, and he's just relentless. When he loses it, he wants it back.
He's honestly a great guy in the dressing room. Like for me, dressing room guy, like someone you can go talk to, have fun. You know, in the most part, like he's just a good guy to talk to. I mean, when I first came to the team, I made friends with him instantly, type thing. And you know, he works hard. Like there's no doubt about his work ethic. You know, he loves being out there, practice, games. You know, he'll be the last one off the ice. He's got great hands. You know, he can stick handle in a phone booth. He can. I was watching him yesterday in practice, and he was just doing these tight turns in and out where with 5 people on him, type thing, and he just came out with the puck, and his vision's good. He's got a good shot. He can score.
Well, having a younger team, I try to use my experience to kind of help and guide the younger guys kind of through the process and getting used to it. And I mean, at the beginning, obviously it was a little bit tough, and then now we got things going, got flow to the systems, and that's what I think that was a big part of what I was doing.
Lagunov was chosen by Mississauga in the OHL draft and could have gone major junior, but he chose the OJHL to keep his NCAA options open, a move which paid off for him this year when he signed with the University of Massachusetts to begin play next season.
I visited the school and I loved everything about it, from academics to athletics, the whole support staff, coaching. They got new coaches coming in, or came in this season, and I really believe in what they're doing. I think there's a lot of potential in the program for the next 5 years.
I think he can be a pro. I think he has a shot at making the NHL because he does everything so well.
Ultimate dream would be being an impact player in the NHL. I mean, a lot of kids dream of that, of course, but I try to think of it as the most important part, making it there, but not only just making it there, but becoming an impact player.
Okay, the Bar Down Players of the Month were announced, brought to you, of course, by Bar Down, official clothing supplier to the OJHL, and they are goaltender of the month was Chris Jansen of Trenton. Incidentally, he was also named CJHL first star of the month. Way to go, Chris. In the Northeast, Cameron Lamport of Lindsay with 14 points, and in the Southwest, Jack Jacome of the Raiders with 13 points. Congratulations to all. Okay, Mississauga traveling to Orangeville to take on a rapidly improving Flyers squad, but the Chargers hit the score sheet first. Michael Choma, the blast from the point past Jake Lohr, and Missy takes the 1-0 advantage into the second frame. All Flyers in the second, though. Zach Lyons to Colin Rigney for the sweet finish to knot things up at 1 apiece. And then shortly after, this is a carbon copy of the first one. Exact same guys, exact same play. Lyons to Rigney backdoor. Orangeville jumps out to the 2-1 lead. And then it was Lyons getting in on the goal scoring as he smokes it past Tyler Karuna to extend the Flyers lead to 3-1. And then the goal of the week, Michael Manera going coast to coast, breaking ankles in the process as he causes the defender to blow a tire. Gorgeous goal. Flyers up 4-1, and in the third, they were getting some good goaltending from Jake Lohr, as well as he robs Brandon Yeamans on the breakaway right there. This one, he couldn't help, though. Brandon Ginyanko hammers a shot, deflects off a stick, and rockets into the top corner. Missy cuts the lead in half to 4-2, but Orangeville puts this baby to bed for good just seconds later, as it's the easiest goal Colin Rigney will ever score. 5-2 Flyers, that was the final. And as it turned out, that was the last goal team captain Rigney would score as an Orangeville Flyer, as just a couple of days later, he was traded to Georgetown in exchange for Daniel Bruno. As the Raiders continue to load up for a big playoff run, the Flyers, though, looking good for next season with all that young talent. Welcome back. You know, with all the attention on Trenton and Cobourg in the East this season, it seems at times as though the Whitby Fury are flying under the radar, but teams who ignore the Fury pay a steep price. They're currently sitting second in the division. They're a powerhouse squad that's racked up the second most goals in the OJ, and once again, they flexed their muscles against the Golden Hawks last Sunday. Whitby was the only team to have beaten Trenton twice this season, having won both encounters heading into this one. They start strong, 3:28 in, Ryan Taylor banging it home, and it's 1-0 Fury. Chris Jansen was named Bar Down Goalie of the Month for December. This wasn't his best game, though. Brock Welsh, quick wrister, and it's Whitby up 2-0. And at the other end of the ice, Austin Kane was coming up big for the Fury. Here he robs Ben Shield from in close with the nice pad save. Second frame, more from Whitby. Ryan Taylor, the little knuckleball that fools Jansen. Second of the game for Taylor, and it's 3-0 Fury. Austin 3:16 at the other end, coming up huge to rob Chris Sekelic One of the stops of the year so far. Absolutely lights out. On to the third we go. Whitby nabs one more. Justin Brand with the easy little tap in out front to make it 4-0 Whitby. Some food for thought now. Trenton has lost 6 games all year. 3 of those contests were against Whitby. The Fury are a perfect 3-0 against the Golden Hawks, outscoring them 11-4. Well, the Georgetown Raiders have been making it look way too easy this season. They've already racked up a 19-game unbeaten streak earlier in the year, and since it came to an end back on November 20th, have lost just once in 11 games. Aurora was the latest team to feel the wrath of the Raiders last weekend. This made for a Kodak moment. 16-year-old call-up Jaden Kandada, 5'4", standing next to 6'7", Jake Payette, the smallest player in the league next to one of the biggest. And Kandada had a great game, actually, as you're about to see. Early on, it's the Tigers coming on strong. Melconi and Toluca Esposito. But Nicholas Latinovic sprawls to make the big save. The Raiders draw first blood. Great passing here. Josh Dickinson to Jack Jacome to Jordan Crocker. Tic-tac-toe. And G-Town jumps out to the 1-0 lead. And they were laying the body as well. Keegan Blasby lays out Jacob Katsopoulos along the boards. The Raiders would nab a second before the break. Hampton to Jordan Anderson out front with the nifty little backhand, and the home squad pads its lead to 2-0. More rough stuff. Andrew Court standing up Spencer Blackwell, but he gets called for interference and sits in the sin bin for 2 minutes. Second stanza, the Raiders using the members bounce. Matthew Tom banks it to Blasby over to Court. Raiders up 3-0 and fully in control. Jake Sabourin under fire all game between the pipes, but he was outstanding. Here he stretches to deny Dan Burno. Final frame, all Raiders off the draw. It's Kandada to Payette, who will tally, and the youngster gets an assist to pick up his very first point in the OJ. Congrats to Jaden and his teammates. We're absolutely loving it. The final insult, Payette, way too much time and space on the power play, and Payette, soft hands for a big man of 6'7". That is his 6th of the year. 5-0. Georgetown out shooting Aurora 63-19 in this contest. As mentioned, if not for the outstanding play of Tigers keeper Jake Sabourin, this one would have been a lot worse. Okay, 2 teams neck and neck for the final playoff spot in the Southwest. Just 3:03 in. The Pats strike first. Paul Violo with the nice effort to slide it past Dalton Ewing. This game was back and forth the whole way, though. A minute later, Jake Joff to Artur Turchuriev for the sweet finish, and it's 1-1. 6 minutes later, Ryan Wells with the point shot. Ewing kicks it right out to Dante Spagnuolo. 2-1 Patriots. The lead did not last long, though. Just 2 minutes after that, Turchiev and Joff reversing roles this time as Joff bulges the twine, and it's 2-2 at the break. Second period, the breakneck pace continued. Look at the work by Jack McBain as he puts on his hard hat, digs it out, beats Cam Gray, and now it's the Canadians on top 3-2. The Pats would come right back, though. Ewing once again makes the original stop. Nobody clears out Jeff Joint. He knots it up. It was tough to keep up all the goal scoring in this one, though. Just a minute and a half later, David Sherman. Here comes the boom with the point shot. 4-3 for the Canadians. 91 seconds later, picture-perfect passing by the Pats. Try to say that 10 times fast. Oliver Benwell with the finish. And it's 4-4. And you guessed it, a minute and a half later, Graham McLean's point shot is redirected by Jeff Joint. I'm out of breath. 5-4 Patriots. And then Cam Gray does this, robbing Turchuriev. You'll see that again in the plays of the week in the next segment. Final stanza, the Pats pad their lead. Joint with the Hattie, and that makes it 6-4 Patriots. That is how it finished up. What a battle this game was. And it's happening in the standings as well, as the Pats lead the JRCs by just a single point in the battle for the 8th and final playoff spot in the Southwest, which leads us into a look at the standings in the East. Trenton pursued a bit more closely by Whitby now, just 7 points behind, followed by Cobourg, Kingston, and Wellington. In the North Division, Markham sitting on top, now with a more comfortable lead over second place Stouffville, followed by Newmarket, closely pursued by Lindsay, just 2 points behind now. In the South Division, Oakville on top, but St. Mike's is nipping at their heels, followed by North York and the Patriots tied with 37 points apiece. In the West, Georgetown, comfy lead over second place Burlington, followed by Buffalo, Orangeville, and Milton on the bottom with just 3 wins. And just a reminder, the first ever OJHL Combines are taking place this April, one in Oshawa and one in Oakville. Do you have what it takes? You can strut your stuff in front of all 22 OJHL teams. Age ranges from 14 to 17 years old. For more information, you can head to ojhl.ca. Welcome back. After missing out on the playoffs last season, the Toronto Patriots have bounced back in a big way this year. Now, not only have the Pats knocked off Burlington twice, they've also counted wins over OJ Powers, Wellington, Kingston, and Oakville thus far, sending a strong message to the rest of the league that come playoff time, the Patriots are a team that has the potential to do some serious damage. The Toronto Patriots, this week's team report brought to you by Muscle Milk. Muscle Milk. Get stronger every day. Just 2 seasons ago, the Toronto Patriots were flying high. Back-to-back OJHL championships had cemented their place as one of the league's flagship franchises. But last year, the Pats took a step back. They rebuilt and went through growing pains in the process, missing out on the OJ playoffs.
Last year was a bit of an up and down year for the boys. What happened is they started the year very well, and with some moves that happened through the mid-season, they lost some of their veteran strength, their veteran power. So the boys ended up having to work harder and do what they could to try and salvage the playoff run or playoff spot, and they just fell a little bit short. So
this year, the Pats have been competitive from the get-go. They're currently sitting in playoff position in the Southwest and have pulled off wins over some of the league's most powerful teams.
Going forward, I think the team has been able to surprise quite a few teams. We've won most of our games because of hard work and commitment to the system. And the only thing about now is you don't have as many regular guys and everyone's pretty much new. So it's a matter of having the consistency.
We've had our ups and downs, but we started off very well, being some pretty big teams in Whitby and Kingston. And I think looking forward, we got a great bunch of guys, and I think we're primed for a playoff run. And hopefully we just need to be consistent.
The team has been inspired by the absence of their head coach, Mario Chiquilo, who's had to take a leave of absence to deal with a family medical issue. Chiquilo, one of the league's most respected coaches, has in the interim been replaced by Jason Payne, who has a talented stable of players to draw from, led by team captain Andrew Petrucci.
This guy, he's brought so much to the team. Obviously, he's our captain, and he's done a great job being vocal in the room and leading by example. He's got an amazing shot, and he's definitely not afraid to help any of the rookies or even some of the vets if they need some help.
After Petrucci, it's been a scoring by committee approach that's helped the Pats, with many players stepping up. Jeff Joint recently notched a hat trick against the Junior Canadians, and Eric Aramita has been a standout as well.
He's like a pit bull out there. Like, he doesn't give up. He's probably the hardest working guy on our team for sure. He gets in the corners, he does all the dirty work, he gets the dirty goals, and he's also a great guy on and off the ice. So he's definitely played a key part in our team this year as well.
Lee Lapide has brought a complete game to the Patriots after spending much of last season with the Junior Canadians.
He's a great offensive guy, but he's also a really good defensive guy. I think we've put him on defense a couple times here. Like I said, we've had a lot of injuries on the back end, so he's definitely like the kind of guy you can use in all different kind of situations. He's got a great shot and he's a great skater, and also a very, very quiet but very good guy.
Cam Gray has established himself as one of the OJ's top goaltenders, a Texan who's brought his game to the Great White North.
Cam is a great guy. You know, when we first came here, we sort of chirped him for his tattoo on his body. He has a Canadian flag, and he's from Texas, like you said. So we sort of chirped him for that. But he's bar none one of the best guys in the room, and he's been playing great for us all year, and we definitely have his back.
He's coming in. He's been a leader right away. Hasn't done anything bad at all. And obviously he's an American, so. We like to joke around with him once in a while and show him that the Canadians are the best. But overall, he's awesome to have on the team.
Kalizic, he's one of my line mates. I've played with him off the start, and you know, I couldn't have asked for a better line mate to play with. He's a younger guy, he's a 99, but he's got a ton of skill. He's got a great shot. He's definitely, I'd say, the most skilled forward on our team, and he's been showing it so far this year.
The Patriots are battling for the 8th and final playoff spot in the Southwest, but know they've sent a strong message of what they can accomplish to the rest of the league with some of the upsets they've pulled off so far.
I really think if we move the puck, we execute our systems, I think we're definitely one of the best teams in our conference. All we got to do is just stick to our systems, and I think we got to make the playoffs, but if we do that, I think we can definitely upset some big teams.
Okay, let's take a look at the top 5 for the last week, brought to you by Jostens, official championship ring provider to the OJHL. Number 5, Kingston's Reed Russell stalking that Gatorade bottle and finding it against Trenton for the beautiful top shelf tally last Friday. Number 4, Pats versus JRCs. Absolutely sublime passing by the Patriots here. Tic-tac-toe, Oliver Benwell with the finish in the big Pats win. Number 3, Orangeville's Michael Manera going coast to coast against Mississauga before going roof daddy to finish it off. Part of a huge Flyers win. Number 2, Cam Gray. Words don't do this justice. Utter larceny on Artur Dachuriev. And number 1 and 2 were basically interchangeable. Whitby's Austin Kane robs Chris Sekulic. Incredible stops. 1A and 1B for your OJ plays of the week. And that is it for this week. But just remember, to keep up to date on everything with the league, you can head to ojhl.ca. On Twitter, you can find it at OJHL Official, and on Facebook at facebook.com/OJHL Official. Thank you so much for tuning in, folks, and we will see you next week.